Just a month ago, Saturday Night Thunder had no repeat winners this season. We were looking at brand new drivers and veterans getting their first taste of the checkered flag on a week-by-week basis. Flash forward and bring the calendar up about 30 days, and that is completely the opposite situation we're in right now. For the past month, it's been two drivers who have gone to victory lane, Matthew White and James Thurston. The fight continues to see who truly is the best of the best, as it's now our 8th race of the 2025 B season. Welcome to the Saturday Night Thunder Grand National Series from Concord, North Carolina. At night, this is the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and our 180-mile feature is set to begin in only 5 minutes' time. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. We've got ourselves a field now of 24 drivers who are ready to take to the track, and so many of them already have, as qualifying has only just begun. Cameron Chandler sits on the provisional pole position, but many strong contenders, including James Thurston and Jordan Kuntz, have yet to take a time. Here is the number 96 right now. That is Thurston, now on his way. James gets onto the track for his first run in that Ford Mustang. Then from there, you'll have Jordan Kuntz on the way. Kuntz going to be in the premier Chevy Camaro, which he has manned all season long, and he already has a win on his slate, so he doesn't have to worry about getting that first. But of course, the goal for him is to join the company with a crooked number. Right now, Thurston leads all drivers, and then you got Matthew White toe-to-toe with him. It has been win after win after win for the number 88 and the 96 respectively, and they've gone back and forth since the beginning of September. Jordan Kuntz, the opener of this season, just put out a fire lap as he puts it down, burns down the house. That's a 30.283. Fastest of all drivers is now coming around the way. It's Thurston. James at the line, 30.415. That is good for second, but he is a 1/10 of a second behind. Kuntz is far and away better. Here comes Matthew Weeks. Weeks is going to be in the number 11 today. And of course, as he has been all season, he'll make his way through and comes across the line. Matthew right now, 11th place on the timing charts. His fastest lap in practice was the fastest lap overall in that session, so he's got himself good numbers to work with, and I think that's something that every driver has to look out for, whether or not drivers in the field can translate their practice speeds into the race pace that we see all night long. Again, we got 120 laps on the table tonight, so being the best of the best for one lap isn't the biggest of deals, but if you can execute both on the long and the short run, you're in a great place. Weeks across the line goes second. He's the first driver within a 1/10 of a second there of Jordan Kuntz, so he's significantly closer than most other guys. Andres Varas now on his run, but it looks like he's going to run out of time before making it to the line here. 10 seconds on the clock and counting down, and it looks like with that, qualifying has concluded. Jordan Kuntz in the number 99 returns to the field, and he is far and away the best of the best, qualifying with a quick time, a 30.283. Jordan grabs the pole position. The first driver to win this season is the first man on the board to kick off the night, and he will lead the field when we go green. 5 minutes of warm-up now for drivers, and we're about to get things started here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But until we do, we're going to be right back after some messages from our partners and associates as we make sure everything is all clean behind the scenes. Thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting. We'll return with your starting grid right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
For the Charlotte Motor Speedway, your starting grid is set, and now we've only got a few minutes until we get them assembled, line them up, and go racing all over again. And it begins with the number 99 of Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz grabs the pole position on the inside of row number 1, and he'll find himself the leadoff man right beside Matthew Weeks, who'll start in second. James Thurston has been on a hot run as of late. He and Matthew White have been the dominant men of the field. James is looking to go for 3 wins in this month period. He'll begin the day. Row 2, driver number 3. Cameron Chandler is the perpetual bridesmaid. 4th place to start. We're still looking after whether or not he can find that first win. He'll begin the day in 4th. Braden Hunsicker running strong as of late to begin P5. Ashton Miller goes 6th. Trey Holmes in the 19 goes 7th. And the number 63 of Henry Kaloff, that's the man in 8th. 9th goes Vinny Tigner. John Meeks wraps up the top 10. And 11th place on the lineup will be a new hit. Of course, new face, Kurt Gibson. Charles Savita-Reese is 12th. Gibson only making his first ever start at Charlotte in this series. He's a rookie this year. Aiden Donahue, 13th, and Payson Lindsay, 14th. Only 12 drivers taking the time in qualifying, Charles being the last of which. Jacob Clarino starts the day in 15th. 16th goes to Asher Bunkley. You'll have David Hamrick in 17th, Andres Varas 18th. Daniel Silla will be alongside Varas and wrap up the top 20. You've got your final 4 drivers then and there. Joseph Miller in the number 16 and Mike Hill in the 27. Those are drivers 21 and 22. Last drivers on the day, you'll have Tyler Seaver and Curtis Stanford. They are 23rd and 24th on your lineup. 12 rows, 24 drivers, and the first man to win this season, looking for his 3rd career title, Jordan Kuntz lines up top of the board from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's your starting grid, and so now is about time that we get moving as we are moments away from wrapping up final practice and getting it all started. Welcome back, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we are just moments away from bringing the show on the road. Here's James Thurston in his number 96, and he's got himself ready to go at it for the night. Now, practice concluded, every driver ready, and we will go at it for 120 laps, 180 miles on the table today. Pole sitter being Kuntz, outside pole sitter being Matthew Weeks, and they'll line up for the first time at Charlotte in an all-night race. So we're going to be dealing with nighttime conditions all day long. A lot of the time when we go to this track, we see a few differences. Sometimes it's day to night, sometimes it's the new version of the track compared to the old version of the track. And right now, everyone's going to be loading in and getting themselves settled in, and it's going to be Kuntz first and foremost on that lineup. Jordan with the pole position. It's very important for him now as he has missed a few races. Keep that in mind. He started the season off with a victory, but he hasn't been here week after week. And that's perhaps his only shortcoming on the season to this point. He began the season off strong, but not being here week after week is a critical disadvantage. As the laps go on, and maybe you'll see it as the laps wind down, he'll be back in his groove, but he's not been racing with this group just as much. So we'll see whether or not that ends up being a problem or if Kuntz is able to get around it. Regardless, we'll see what happens here as the field is set to go to green just moments from now. We got 2 minutes left for guys to lie down on pit road and get readied up. And then from there, it is game time, of course, from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. If we have green flag racing, you could see at the minimum one pit stop. One pit stop is going to be required no matter what, but what you also might see as the race progresses is a multi-stop strategy. Largely that is going to be dependent on pit road, so if we have drivers going down under caution, that's going to add in multiple pit stops. If we have a caution during the first 40 or 50 laps, it's going to be basically impossible to do this race without multiple pit stops because drivers will be coming in then, and that's when you're going to see the first big shift on the day as regards to who goes where and when drivers decide to head to pit road. So watch out for that. That's something to look out for as the day goes on. The beginning of this race, we are hoping to see green flag running, but nothing is guaranteed. Jordan Kuntz going to get himself on the way, and he'll be the first to roll out in that number 99. Track conditions today are also going to be as fair as they come. Taking a look at our weather for tonight's event, well, you'll see it pretty clear. As things roll, it's going to be as fair as it gets. Ambient temperature and track temperature both sitting at around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Ambient temp is 90, track temp is 89 with humidity, a relative percentage of only 45%. Winds are northbound and mild, partly cloudy skies, but you can't see them. That, of course, is because it's nighttime. So what you see, it's pretty deceiving because there's not much to see. So it's not going to be a concern of daylight, not going to be a concern of temperature, and the humidity is fair. These are all conditions that will play into the favor of every driver. James Thurston tonight is without his main championship rival. I have not seen, and neither have the rest of the field, seen a trace of Matthew White tonight. He will not be racing with us, and so James has free range relative to his biggest rival. But one thing he does have in mind is a challenge of the 99. Jordan Kuntz going toe-to-toe with the man in the number 96. They'll both line up on the front row. Matthew Weeks will lead Chandler as he looks for his first ever win. And it's about time that we get back to business. Halfway through October, 2 races to go in the regular season. We are green from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's Jordan Kuntz who sets them off. Yellow flag, back of the field. We've got trouble. Joseph Miller is involved. We'll take the lap back and show you what happened, as for the first time on the day, we've got a caution, and it involves the number 16, among others. In the back of the field there, you see David Hamrick returning. David, who has himself one victory on the season, he won in Talladega. He's back again. So as it ran, you can see the number 16 right here, way back in Miller, and trouble ensues coming out of turn 4. Front straightaway looks to have all the problems. And out of 4, Daniel Silla just catching Joseph Miller. Michael Deitch unable to avoid it. Deitch ends up involved and has some contact. 3 drivers, Deitch, Silla, and Joseph Miller. Miller goes around, and the yellow flag is out. Lap 1, yellow flag. Lap 2, we are still under caution and waiting for the iRacing pace car, it appears. Kuntz stays out. Thurston does not. He will decide to top off early And we'll see whether or not that opening lap makes much of a difference, as he will make the immediate call down and in. Quick call for James Thurston. He'll be the first driver to head down to pit road without damage. That leaves Kuntz now out, and he will be with Braden Hunsicker, Cameron Chandler. Matthew Weeks, Trey Holmes, Ashton Miller go down to P6, with the top 10 seeing one new driver set to enter, and it looks like that will be Asher Bunkley. Bunkley in the 92, going from 16th up to 10th on that one. Time to spare, 2 laps to go. We'll head back at it again at lap number 5 for our first restart of the day. Jordan Kuntz will keep on leading. He's led every lap of the day, but of course he's only had to lead one. He got a good jump off, and that's how things start. Trying to get that good momentum on early. The back of the field came undone, but Thurston wasn't able to hold a candle yet to Kuntz. But it's an interesting call. He'll be the only driver who decided to go down to pit road, and he's doing that going down only 1 lap in. Will that lap make a difference if we see a long green flag run is a big question, because for James, now it means he's going to have to go for a 2-stop strategy, no matter what. But he's basically in line with everyone else to go down during the midway point of this race as they run. Or, if we don't see that happen, he could go down whenever the field goes down and in. He's not off cycle, but he's added a little bit more into it. Interesting to see. We'll go at it again, double file, the 96 of Thurston up top, as it's all set to go again. Jordan Kuntz, Braden Hunsicker, double 9 and double zeros. So polar opposites on that top and bottom. The Chevrolet of Kuntz leading with Cameron Chandler still behind him. Matthew Weeks now being led by Braden Hunsicker on the outside. Lap number 5, Aiden Donahue back at the track where he made his debut earlier this year. He ended up leading some laps and started the race off well. Chase Schaefer, the winner last time we were here in Charlotte, although it was a different version of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It was the 2008 Legacy version. This is the more modern iteration. This is a lot more like what drivers face on a daily basis today. However, with that said, Donahue still looking to go on the up and up. He qualified 13th and is down 7 spots, so definitely not running where we would expect him to be. And I'm sure that's not where he would expect to be so early, so far behind. A second chance, though, for everyone comes in the form of our first restart. Watch now. Jordan Kuntz gets the ball rolling. Green flag is out again. It's going to be the 99, and he has it made. Kuntz, restart number 1. It's his as Braden Hunsicker fights to keep second. Watch for James Thurston here. Back of the field, he runs in 22nd, and so the great one-lap experiment begins. Going down to pit road after a lap 1 caution is something that nobody else decided to do. Even the drivers who were involved in that caution, well, they find themselves now right there with Thurston, and yet James is quick to pass. Let's see if he can get up to the top 20 and quickly, and where the ceiling really is. The field is already spread out by some 3 seconds, so James has to move. He's dealing with the fact that the guys around him are much slower, and he's going to have to really push if he wants to get up here and get into the fight. Vinny Tigner to the inside of John Meeks. He will take a spot. That'll be for 9th. Asher Bunkley, 16th up to 8th, is looking to make that 16th to 7th. That's 9 spots on the day for the Bunkley crew. Asher up the most of any driver and is the only driver who started outside of the top 10 to be in it, filling the hole left by James Thurston. It's the 92 pushing in. High Rock's Ashton Miller runs in 6th. You'll have Matthew Weeks in 5th now, and the top 5 is thinned out again with Braden Hunsicker running 3/10 back in line on Jordan Kuntz. Henry Kaloff here is about as tight as it gets to the battle. He finds himself in the middle of the way between the front of the field and the upper mid-pack. Cameron Chandler is going to make that move to the inside and get it down low on Braden Hunsicker. Great pass there. It's as textbook as it comes, and so now Chandler is looking to storm up and get into the fight for the win. Cameron, of course, looking for that maiden victory, and that has become the biggest story of his season and, of course, his year in Saturday Night Thunder. Now, with just about 20 races under his belt, the fact that he doesn't have that first win is unbelievable. He is still one of the best guys week in, week out, and might just be a driver to look out for when it comes to the championship next season. That's how good he is. Came home third in the title running last season to James Thurston, who put down one of the best overall seasons ever, and Matthew Weeks, who had one of the best playoff runs ever. Weeks ended up winning the title by getting the better of both of them in that run. James had the exact same numbers as Cameron did, with one exception. James had 5 wins, Cameron had none. And of course, if he wants to really be a championship contender, even with some of the most top 5s and top 10s of the year, he needs that win, and he's going for it. To the outside now on Jordan Kuntz. Jordan slots back in line, pass made. Here comes the number 8. New race leader, it is Cameron Chandler. Matthew Weeks now side by side with Bunkley, as it looks like Asher is trying to push into the top 5. Bunkley at the line, just slightly behind, and can't get through. Meanwhile, Ashton Miller's got himself down to the inner groove, watching and following Matthew Weeks. You might see the outside get hung out to dry, as now you got 3 guys on the inside, very hard to come back in. Bunkley, lucky to get that break. That's going to move the Asher crew up to 5th. Braden Hunsicker down to 4th, and from as high as 2nd now, maybe Braden's seeing some struggles in the early going. We'll see if it really ends up being struggles or just more pressure. Cameron Chandler, and as well, Cameron Chandler sees Henry Kaloff, both of which now in front of Jordan Kuntz. Now, Kaloff is doing something we've seen of him a lot, pushing early and pushing hard to get the race lead and trying to break out. The long run usually, in all that we've seen, has caught up to him pretty badly. But right now, the end goal is just maximize the early opening points you can get and worry about the rest later on. That's exactly how Henry Kaloff will be using that outside, shooting out as hard as he can and really trying to put the pressure down. Side by side even still, no problem yet for Chandler nor Kaloff, but it looks like Cameron has been able to hang on. For as hard as right now Henry Kaloff is going, it looks like he doesn't have the stuff on the outside, so he'll swap down low. Taking a look down to the bottom, here comes Kaloff again. This time it's going to be side by side down low as Kaloff shoots into the inner groove, and he will clear. We've got him up in front. That's Henry Kaloff in the number 63. He's got the lead. He'll bring with him Jordan Kuntz in the number 99. Kuntz getting into the mix, and he will send himself side by side inside. Just like that. Kuntz toe-to-toe for P2. We'll see what he can do from here. Can he get up there again quickly, or is he going to bide his time? In all honesty, I don't think there is any rush. If you're looking at who, of course, Jordan Kuntz is racing around, these are some trusted guys, these are veterans, but also none of them have that long-run expertise overall in the experiences. I think, all honesty, Kuntz would have the edge, but again, he's been gone for the past 2 weeks, so we'll see what he really has in store. Maybe right now you're going to catch him off his A game as he falls a few spots, but it's very unlikely that he's going to be falling behind for much longer. 15 laps in out of 120. Still going to be Henry Kaloff leading, but Chandler is again knocking on the door. And as he knocks, he'll soon end up pounding on the door as quickly Cameron Chandler gets to the inside just through the tri-oval, lunging in through turn 1. Here he goes again. Chandler lower and lower, this time trying to make the same move Kaloff did to him out of 3 and 4, this time through 1 and 2. Side by side no more. Chandler just ahead, but he's going to slide back. That gives Kaloff another shot. Will he use it, and will he use it well? And it looks like not well enough. Cameron Chandler will hang on. He'll keep his spot, and he will keep it moving. 17 laps in out of 120. Cameron Chandler darting out and getting it off corner. Jordan Kuntz is still going to be the spectator of this match. He is not really involving himself just yet, just watching and waiting, see if he can get anything out of it. Kaloff still second, but you can see here he has clearly lost some of that, and he's cut some distance down on Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz has been able to get closer and closer, and now it's going to be a real fight between them for second. Kaloff is again starting to succumb to that tire wear. Even in these opening laps, that ends up being a big deal. Down the back straightaway, the only side-by-side battle is further back. John Meeks and Andres Varas. Varas to the inside. Jacob Clarino also there on Daniel Silla. But here comes Meeks making the move immediately through the corners. John tries to get it for 8th here. It looks like he just can't quite cut it. And the advantage remains with Andres Varas. Meeks in P8. Varas in P7. You also got Jacob Clarino going side by side as we mentioned, so let's take a closer look at him. It's going to be now locked up Clarino just behind Donahue. Aiden in the 82 is 10th. Clarino now 11th. Daniel Silla is P9. Payson Lindsay is the final driver caught up to this grouping. But in the meanwhile, it's side by side now for second. Jordan Kuntz down low. Henry Kaloff once again cast away on the high side. And to the top step of the podium, now down to the bottom. Henry Kaloff has been worked to the middle of this top 5 equation. Braden Hunsicker very quickly has gotten himself back in the midst, so he just might be able to do more of the same and catch back up. Hunsicker to the inside. And now, it could be 3 passes in the last 5 laps put on Henry Kaloff. Taking a look over the last 4 laps, you'll see he's still pretty close to your race leader in Cameron Chandler. That much hasn't changed, but he is losing position. Meanwhile, 4 position, Jordan Kuntz surging on the outer groove, trying to take it using the second lane. That hasn't happened all night long, but at the line for Jordan Kuntz, it just might. Across the stripe, 9 thousandths of a second the advantage. And Kuntz just proved right there, he's got the stuff to use the outside and take the lead. Now, he took it. But the question also becomes, you can take the lead, but can you use it properly? Can you, of course, extend that advantage using the outer groove, or can you just take it nose to nose? And it looks like Jordan Kuntz is trying to answer that right now and get clear. He is closer and closer to being clear than he's been in the past 5 laps, and now he's there. Hunsicker takes it to the inside. Kuntz used it up high, and 3 wide middle left hung out to dry. Cameron Chandler. Chandler in the worst situation of everyone right there, and he's going to have to drop back. And when we say he's going to have to drop back, I mean, that's just a matter of circumstance there. There's really little else he can do. Unfortunately, passed on both sides. Now he's going to be in the back of the podium. But he does have one thing that he can, of course, rely on now. He's watching the battle. He's not right there in it. So instead of wasting that energy going side by side with the guys that he's around, or, of course, getting involved with some contact, he might instead be able to get things done just by waiting. If the driver's ahead of him, if, say, for instance, Braden Hunsicker and Jordan Kuntz get into a really tight battle, you might see some blows. And as they go at each other, Cameron Chandler's right back in business. Andres Varas, he's there in 9th. 9 spots up currently. Jacob Clarino, 15th up to 10th. 5 spots up on where he started. He's got himself right now in the top 10 for the first time today. Just on the outside of it when we last checked on him, but some minor position swaps have given him that shot. Asher Bunkley's gone down to pit road, as has now Kurt Gibson. You see Kurt to the inside, 1 lap down as it stands, and Asher Bunkley back on the way. And it looks like the 92 team, after being as high as the top 5, has dropped it down and in. Bunkley right now with no damage, but still in that territory where being a lap down and might be in jeopardy of falling more. Even the lucky dog can't save a driver that's multiple laps down. 2 laps down now is Kurt Gibson. 3 down is David Hamrick. So the top 3 keep it moving. 26 laps in out of 120. Less than 100 to go. Still a lot of time on the table. Take a look behind from Jordan Kuntz's perspective. Ducking down low, here comes Braden Hunsicker, the 00, looking for the lead for the first time tonight. He's got a shot, and he will take it, but he won't be able to stick it. Kuntz gets the lead again. Out of 4, Jordan Kuntz, with the lead in jeopardy through the back straightaway, is able to reclaim it just like that. And in the snap of fingers, he's got it right where he needs to be. 28 laps in out of 120. James Thurston has gotten up to 14th. So this strategy call he's made so far hasn't particularly paid off. Side by side for the lead again. This time, Braden Hunsicker on the outside, taking a page out of the Jordan Kuntz playbook. He looks faster. And he looks like he's got the lead. The 00 of Hunsicker takes his first lead of the night. First lap led, first time he's got the position all in one. So Hunsicker from Kuntz. Previously, Chandler and Kaloff have held on to it. And it has swapped hands again. The lead has been back and forth for everyone today. It looks like no matter who you are, they got it together. And it looks like this group together in front will keep on battling. These top 3 drivers remain right with each other. Henry Kaloff is still in 4th. However, he's fallen back big time and now might be in the clutches of Ashton Miller and Vinny Tigner. Top 10 is separate by 5 seconds right now with no double file battles, although Vinny Tigner might change that again. Tigner is really right down on Ashton Miller here. This is for the top 5, so we'll see how hard Tigner decides to fight for it. But Miller really is keeping things moving. Across the line in double file, it's going to be Tigner low, and he'll have the edge in a 1. Meanwhile, looks like Cameron Chandler close again, and he's taking 2nd while Jordan Kuntz bounces down to 3rd. So Jordan is again at the bottom of the podium, and another swap. No consistency as to who's been where today. You've had some drivers with experiences up in the top 5 and then way out of it, some vice versa. However, these leading guys have been consistent. They all qualify in the top 5. The only thing is they've been swapping positions with one another. The only driver right now, of course, that we haven't seen all too much of that started up in front, Matthew Weeks. Matthew Weeks right now is down to 21st, and it looks like he has fallen back more than anyone else. Even as James Thurston has himself further behind in his strategy call, Weeks now has damage. And it looks like with some quarter panel tagging, he is certainly not in the best position to keep things moving. In jeopardy of going 1 lap down, and he would take that lucky dog position from Asher Bunkley if that's the case. Braden Hunsicker now seeing the 2 drivers behind him fight amongst each other. That's going to be Jordan Kuntz and Cameron Chandler. Hunsicker all of a sudden is really coming to his own in this race, and that's going to leave Kuntz in the position to actively fight for a spot. Same as well for Chandler, and the more energy that these 2 drivers put down, it doesn't matter who they are battling, it's usually a worse situation to be fighting for a spot rather than to just have it secured. And I think all these guys know that feeling well. They know both feelings well. Having the advantage and then fighting for it. Braden Hunsicker just happy he's on the better end of those 2. You don't have it this good all the time, but right now Hunsicker making the most of it. He's gained 0.3 of a second as he holds the race lead, and he's got it all by himself now. Single file down through the top 10. Andres Varas now going for a pass on Daniel Silla. For 11th. Daniel on the inside, Andres up top. Varas in the wall, and it looks like he's going to shake off of it. Luckily, no contact with anyone else, but that was close. Payson Lindsay also coming through in 13th. Payson finds himself right alongside Andres Varas. And this will be the battle now for the 12th position. Payson's had a string of races ruined to this point by not being able to finish them. In large part, that has come down just to disconnections or wrecks later in the going. And as this battle still continues, it's going to be Lindsay just ahead. The problem for Payson Lindsay has been that late race execution, but it isn't always about the end of the race where the issue is, but sometimes about the very beginning. Lindsay has shown some good flashes of pace in these opening races. Now the question becomes, when do flashes become a real light to shine on the field? Payson right now is yet to take that full leap, but I believe that when this crew does, you'll see a lot better out of Lindsay. Payson now fighting to get 11th place on Daniel Silla, ahead of Varas, who got in the wall. Down the back straightaway, it is all for the number 97. Strong run off the corner, and that's all that's needed. Braden Hunsicker, 5th to 1st. Right now, at the top of the board, it's going to be Braden again. 10th and a half back is Jordan Kuntz, Cameron Chandler 3rd. Top 3 as they run within a half second of each other. 4th place is now Vinny Tigner. Tigner hasn't really found himself all too close to these leading guys, but all of a sudden, he's pretty close. What can he do now that he finds himself in the top 5 and actually gaining? That's by he ran a 32.416, which was a 1/10 of a second faster than leader Braden Hunsicker with a 32.524. So it looks like right now you've got a completely different battle beginning to shape up. It begins, of course, with a driver that you can't yet see in the top 3 of the frame. And that, of course, is Vinny Tigner. Vinny right now making his move in. Tigner, watching his drivers getting ahead of him, have actually gotten even closer. That time by, Vinny going to cut the gap between he and Cameron Chandler to only 0.4 of a second, and he's putting down about a 1/10 of a second each and every lap. With more confidence and more speed, we're going to see a battle very quickly between these two guys, and then it's going to become a battle for all 4. Chandler remains in control. Number 99 at Jordan Kuntz. Cross the line, still 0.2 back on Braden Hunsicker. Who's holding back and who's going all the way? Is it a big concern to be holding back right now? Or is it really what we're seeing right now, all that these drivers have? That's still the question. And I think right now, with it being unanswered, you really don't know who's got the best stuff for the long term. Vinny Tigner is looking good in this long run, but he still has 20 more laps to go in this situation. Will he be able to keep up the pace and keep on gaining, or is this going to be a flash in the pan? At the line again, he is still faster and convincingly faster, yes, but he's going to encounter his first big obstacle, and that, of course, is the fact that he will have to pass these drivers and really make the move around them. And it's one thing to get up there and get close and catch. When you're passing a driver, it's a completely different situation. You got to move around another driver who wants the same lane you do. That's difficult. And it is difficult with reason. 42 laps in out of 120. Coming across the line again, it is all Braden Hunsicker up in front. Braden has led the most laps of anyone of the day to this point with 15 of 43 taken by the 00. Cameron Chandler and Jordan Kuntz side by side again. To the inside goes Chandler. The outer groove remains Jordan Kuntz. And right now, it looks like he's got no choice but to let him have it. Kuntz again is behind. The last shot for Jordan Kuntz in this final stretch is going to come sometime within the next 10 laps. Realistically speaking, it's going to be pretty soon, as drivers have to begin heading down a pit road and weighing their options. You don't want to get that final run in very late, but of course, time and distance will tell. Everyone should be able to go all the way for that first 60-lap stretch, make it a one-stopper if absolutely needed. But if not, you might see drivers splitting it up. James Thurston is now up to 12th, by the way, so he's getting closer to the top 10, but still has a ways to go when it comes to the rest of this night. You know, when we mentioned James Thurston, what exactly is he doing through the corners? Is he saving fuel? We are about to find out right now as we take a listen through turns 3 and 4. Here's Thurston making his way down the back straight. Stick with him right here and take a listen to Thurston, and we'll give you that driver telemetry on the left of your screen. So at least with what you're looking at right now, James Thurston isn't actively saving his stuff, which maybe if he was, he'd be in a better spot. And we only say that because he's so far behind. He's slightly clutched and coasted there, which means he is slightly letting off. And I think that's going to be the only way he plays himself back into favor. With the green flag run, he is off cycle, and worse than that for him, he just doesn't have the position. And not having the position is the worst thing right now, so the only way to get it back is to find it later. If he saves and clutches and coasts, he'll have the shortest run of anyone on the way out, and if he stays on the lead lap, that means he can become the fastest driver in the final stretch. Caution's out, second of the day. Who is the cause? It's going to be Andres Varas involved with Daniel Silla. Yellow flag is out. Take a look at this. Second of the night at lap 47. Everyone is bound to come into pit road with this one. As the caution flies, it's going to involve your guys who are battling for about the 15th position at that moment. Beating and banging up the track, Daniel and Varas. Oh, 3 wide with Joseph Miller there. Miller up to Daniel Silla, then to Andres Varas. And Daniel definitely gets the worst of it. Varas slides out, Miller gets away, and Daniel ends up sliding through the full distance out of 3 and 4. Yellow flag is out. Asher Bunkley will receive lucky dog consideration. And as we are set to go green at about lap number 51, we'll set ourselves up with our first green flag cycle of the day being avoided in our first full caution cycle. Braden Hunsicker leads them all in with one common recipe. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel. We'll see what happens now as drivers head inside to pit road. Who comes out first is the question. Everyone's in. Now watch pit exit. Hunsicker's got the edge. We'll see what happens. Jordan Kuntz with a pole position stall. We'll see if he tries to roll out in a quicker strategy. Thurston now back on cycle thanks to this huge change. At the line, Kuntz, I believe, gets it over everyone else. Will they cycle him up? It looks like Kuntz will take second and, yes, take first. He barely beat everyone out there. And it will be Jordan Kuntz ahead of Cameron Chandler and Braden Hunsicker. It was a close run out, and that's all that Hunsicker needs to maintain the podium. But best for anyone is Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz will find himself now leading the way with an ideal stop and just barely legs out his 2 racing rivals there. James Thurston, now sitting in 11th after that pit stop cycle, will gain a spot. And that'll put himself in a better position, of course, to keep on going and maybe fight for the victory to a higher extent. He didn't seem to be in a really good position. Beforehand, of course. In 12th place, not a bad position necessarily, but he went down all the way to 24th place and last. To try to settle back in on that first restart and long green flag run. Now, half the work has been done and cut out for him. Can he finish off the second half? And better yet, the question should be, does he have the stuff to do it? That question will be answered very soon as Jordan Kuntz brings the field to green for lap number 51. That will give us 70 laps to go. And if we're going to split it the rest of the way, 35 laps on identical stops. One more pit stop is necessary for the entire field, so it looks like we're going to have ourselves a 2-pit stop race. James Thurston and maybe a few others are going to go for a 3-stopper, but that's thanks to the fact that they did things a little bit different. Field will go green. Kuntz, Chandler, Hunsicker, Vinny Tigner, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Aiden Donahue, who qualified in 13th, is now, well, he's a pretty high spot, all things considered, up 8 in 5th. The first time he's been up there all throughout the night. Getting set for business once again, Jordan Kuntz locks and loads. He'll get it on the inside groove better than anyone else. Hunsicker fast enough on the launch to take P2. Cameron Chandler cannot hold a candle, and he'll be P3 as they get off the line with 70 laps to go. Double file further down the line. Take a look at Henry Kaloff now tucking in as he's got himself a nice groove and he's got the rhythm on the inside. A 213 Simware Chevrolet Camaro is double file with Tigner. But watch now as we got a 3 wide. The caution is out. Involved in the back of the field, it looks like Mike Hill. Yellow flag for the third time today. Mike Hill involved as part of the cause of the caution. Take a look at what happened here. Our first back-to-back yellows on the day, with Hill being one of the main culprits. Well, let's see if he was a culprit. Did he cause it or was he involved? Mike, middle of 3. Oh, he just skated loose. I don't even know if there was contact there. And then he gets into Curtis Stanford. Wiggling with new tire. And being 3 wide middle got the best of him as Mike Hill goes around. Yellow flag is out. The field is organized once again, 52 laps in out of 120. So we'll settle in again. Everyone has taken their pit stop, so it's not going to be of any particular concern. And we'll be ready to go at it in about 3 laps' time. Jordan Kuntz maintains his lead. There is a swap now in the top 3 as Braden Hunsicker gets it over Cameron Chandler. Top 5 otherwise looks mostly the same. Aiden Donahue now in 4th, and it's going to be P5, Ashton Miller. Vinny Tigner 7th, John Meeks in 8th, and James Thurston is now up into the top 10. Finally finding his way. It's been a long night for him, and without a doubt, this first half is one he would like to forget. Not to say it was a horrible performance. He just did things very different from everyone else, and that left him out to dry basically the whole way through. Now, as everyone comes together again, you're going to see a more competitive James Thurston, I feel. I think that's going to make this race a lot more exciting to watch up in front. Although Braden Hunsicker so far has definitely been the one to watch. Might not be leading right now, but I think in all honesty and in all likelihood, he will be one of those drivers who contends fiercely until the bitter end here. And I don't think he has a choice. For the sake of his season and for the sake of his campaign, it's better for him to just keep on digging in. I think he will. He's got that spirit, and he's always been diligent on the field. Now the question becomes, can he translate that diligence into success as we go 1 to green? Double file again. Hunsicker now to the inside as your leading man is Jordan Kuntz. We'll go green this time by. It is your 3rd restart of the day at lap number 55. Jacob Clarino, Michael Deitch side by side is the end of this top 10. Another interesting combination to look out for, and of course, for the first time on the podium, take a look at Aiden Donahue. Donahue, 13th up to 4th, has now gained 9 on the day and is one of the most successful drivers in the big mover category. 14 places up now is Michael Deitch, though, so of all drivers, he would be the leading man in our hard charger fight. To the inside, here comes the iRacing official pace car right down a pit road. And now it's going to be the number 82 of Aiden Donahue watching Braden Hunsicker. It'll be Jordan Kuntz, followed swiftly by Cameron Chandler. Green flags out again. We're green at lap number 55, set to finish the job. 2x2 on the way down. Aiden Donahue gets right up on the top side. Henry Kaloff goes with Ashton Miller. Miller, trying to get ahead of Henry Kaloff, lays the bumper ever so slightly, and with the chrome horn being tapped, that's the sign he means business. Take a ride on board, in fact, this lap by with Ashton Miller and see what it's like inside the cockpit with the 79. He runs in 6th right now. Left side of your screen shows driver telemetry. And as you saw that lap, the yellow flag flies again. Caution is out for the 4th time today, and the field is at a standstill. Ashton Miller, of course, still riding on board with him there. He runs 6th, and another quick caution. And at about the halfway point of this race, we're seeing more and more of these incidents coming back and forth. Take a look back and you will see what happened here as Kurt Gibson appeared to be involved. A one-lap replay will tell the story. Here's the number 70 of Gibson. First time racing here, and Mike Hill. Hill got pulverized there. Watch this. And for Mike, the front end is gone. That's his 2nd consecutive caution involved in. What happened? Loose and up the track, overcorrected, and it looks like on his own accord again. And just a lot of troubles on this set of rubber. And it was bad the first time around, but significantly worse that 2nd time. Caution flies. Hill is on pit road with a brutal hit as Jordan Kuntz and company decided to come into pit road here. Henry Kaloff will stay out, but this decision makes sense. We're at the halfway marker, so if they want to stretch it out and maybe set themselves up to go the rest of the way if absolutely needed, going in right now is the right call. Kuntz beats out Hunsicker, then Cameron Chandler, then Ashton Miller and John Meeks. James Thurston taking a little bit more time on pit road, falls behind Donahue and the number 19 of Trey Holmes. Kuntz is coming off of pit road, but your leader is no longer the number 99. And instead, it's Henry Kaloff. Kaloff decides to stay out. We'll see right now whether or not that is the winning move or if it ends up being successful in the short term. Take a look at that stint data, and that'll tell most of the story. Right now, Henry's only on a 9-lap run, but remember, a lot of these runs have been, a lot of these laps, they've been under caution in this run. So that's not a lot of tire wear to deal with. And the potential to gain valuable track position, honestly, it overweighs what anyone else would see just by going down a pit road. If you're in Kaloff's position anyway, it does make sense. So I'm not particularly surprised. I don't think anyone should be surprised that that's the decision he makes. And so Henry will lead the way as they come to 1 lap to green this time by. Side by side with Kaloff to the inside. Vinny Tigner up high, another holdout. And the last of which, only 3 drivers on this strategy Asher Bunkley going 16th to 3rd as your current biggest mover inside the top 5. Michael Deitch is now 24th up to 9th, so that's gaining 15. Only one driver has retired in this race so far, that being David Hamrick, your Talladega winner, not able to go for back-to-back wins on back-to-back starts as he bows out earliest of all, 36 laps down. Mike Hill, with some continued troubles, is now just getting off a pit road, but will run 2 down as it looks like this caution he was able to use his one and only faster pair. Drivers only get 1 second chance. It comes in the form of that faster pair, so hopefully Hill doesn't see any more problems, as the last 2 have been him struggling with the tires, and the troubles have been continued. Let's get it green again. Henry Kaloff and Vinny Tigner with the field waiting on the 63. He'll get the jump. Vinny Tigner, oh, not so much. Tigner's going to drop back many a spot there. And so now the number 12 goes side by side with Jordan Coons. Not at all a good start there for Tigner, as you saw him drop way back, and now we're coming to the halfway point. Kaloff looks like he'll be able to lead him to the 50% marker. And Asher Bunkley, Vinny Tigner, company further back. They'll be going out there side by side for the top 5 places, but nobody can stop Braden Hunsicker. At the line, he's got it, 2nd place. Braden getting down low. Asher Bunkley ripping it on the high side. 16th up to 3rd. But it looks like with Hunsicker getting that new rubber and that advantage, he will take it into 2nd. Caution's out again. Involved this time by is, well, let's find out. Looks like Charles Savita Racing, the 31 went around. Caution flies, and Kurt Gibson into Savita Reese for our 4th. Another yellow flag at the back of the field with 60 laps to go. The back of the pack has seen increased troubles since the lap 50 mark, and another yellow flag flies. Haven't been able to get a strong green flag run going since that point. And unfortunately, this incident is more the same. Taking a lap back with Kurt Gibson, and we'll see what happened from his perspective. Just got loose. Same situation as Mike Hill, but this time he went down and in and got caught on the way. 59 laps to go. We'll head to green with about 57. Henry Kaloff, Braden Hunsicker, Asher Bunkley are top 3. Rounding out the top 10 now is Aiden Donahue. But that's going to change as he heads down to pit road. So another cycle of guys heading in. Donahue, Weeks, Trey Holmes, Andres Varas among those who are deciding to make it official. They're heading in right now, which means that they can go the rest of this race under green no matter what. This is the least risky strategy of all. And if anyone in the field decides to head down this time by them, they will be good to go the rest of the way. So for Matthew Weeks, he's going to make that call. Looks like a splash and go. And that splash is all that's needed. He'll have enough in the tank to go about 90 miles comfortably, 60 laps. And since we'll go back to green with less than 60, he is above where he needs to be when it comes to the fuel cut. That is something that current leader Henry Kaloff definitely cannot say. In this situation, Kaloff is pretty far off of that end goal. Kaloff having about 15 too few laps to go with the end, as he's put down his laps already, so he will have to come down to pit road before lap 100 if he wants any chance at winning this one. 56 to go when we go green. All eyes on Henry as he goes toe-to-toe with Braden Hunsicker. We'll see what happens now. Braden having the newest tires of all those in the top three, and he's the first tire, of course, taker to get up inside the podium. Not behind by much is Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz, Ashton Miller there, all chasing with new rubber. On the inside, well, we'll see what happens now as Asher Bunkley drops way low, beginning to save some fuel for a last-ditch effort just in case we go green, which so far hasn't been the case, but we'll see if that changes, because if it does, Bunkley thinking ahead. "56 laps left when we head at it." Henry Kaloff getting his first chance to lead a restart. Still with us, 23 drivers on the field, the last of which is number 27 of Mike Hill. Mike, one lap down, the only driver off the lead lap that is still racing. If we have a lucky dog, it would be Hill next time around. The field will go green again, and in the hands of Henry Kaloff, everyone gets active one more time. Bunkley will follow teammate Henry Kaloff. KDR as the inside line. The outside is the battle that's been all race long. Hunsicker and Jordan Kuntz. Green flag flies for another restart, and we are back in action. Henry with a real nice launch. Side by side now between the 00 and the 92. Asher Bunkley looking low. A little bit of door banging now for second place. Hunsicker sliding up to the top even further. Door to door, time after time. And this is really going to slow Braden down, but what it also does is open up that window again for Jordan Kuntz. In the meanwhile, Jordan is also battling against Ashton Miller head-to-head. These drivers have the same age rubber, which means that it's an even fight. So even as Hunsicker gets some pressure, he doesn't have the same level of pressure on him as does Jordan Kuntz. So just like that, Kuntz is actually able to get away a little bit better now, as he'll be able to skate through. But Braden Hunsicker gets the best runaway of all. 54 laps to go, and America's home for racing. Braden Hunsicker is really ready now to put the push on. Check it out to the bottom groove. The High Rock Vodka Chevy Camaro is toe-to-toe again with the 92 of Bunkley. Miller able to get out and ahead of Jordan Kuntz as they battle for a second time there. And it looks like Jordan is still watching as the second man in this fight, as he was earlier with Braden Hunsicker. It looks like right now Jordan is deciding to let everyone else do the hard and heavy work, at least in the opening stages of these runs. And I think that's what we would have seen out of Jordan had that opening green flag run not been cut down or shut down. I think we would have seen better out of him in taking the lead back. But right now, taking the lead back is Braden Hunsicker. Not at the line just yet, but man, he is close. Double file, way low. Braden Hunsicker's looking at it again. Can he come off the line with a little bit more? It looks like yes, but Bunkley in the wall. So it looks like one of your KDR drivers with trouble. Asher Bunkley sliding up to the higher side and still in the mix. The 92 team will not quit after that one, but Cameron Chandler would like to get in there. So let's see what Cameron does now, trying desperately to get back in the top 5. Asher is your biggest mover inside the top 10 right now, and still would be even if Cameron gets by. We'll see what happens now. Toe-to-toe between those two drivers. Meanwhile, take a look up in front, side by side between Braden Hunsicker and Henry Kaloff. Way low, Hunsicker, but he still can't stick it through. Henry Kaloff keeps on fighting. and a diligent effort. A very diligent effort at that from the number 63. Even as Henry finds himself with a disadvantage, old tire-wise, he has not yet quit. And as the fight continues on, it looks like there is no stopping in that number 63. Ashton Miller right there as well. Take a ride on board now to the number 79 as he is right where he wants to be in terms of being in the battle. He's got the best view in the house, and better yet, he's not pushing side by side, which means he has much less work to do. Riding now with the number 79, he just has to watch and wait, and he'll get himself a shot. Hunsaker takes the middle groove and gets a nice exit. Henry Kaloff went a little lower, but it's no concern right now. You're right on board with Henry. He's got all clean air. His goal is to not want to look behind and not have to look behind. So long as he keeps it fighting, I think right now, Kaloff's got a shot to keep going for a few more laps. Will he stay the leader for a long period of time, though? Odds are definitely not in his favor. Largely because, of course, he's got old tire, but also because now he's on the outside with multiple other drivers beginning to come in on him. And that's where it's basically a losing equation no matter what. Whether or not you've got the strength to go out there and push against drivers on the same tire, it's a lot more different when you are on an opposite strategy to everyone around you, and an emphasis on everyone because Ashton Miller and Jordan Kuntz and Cameron Chandler, who are all trying to get by right now, and Braden Hunsaker, who already has, they're all together. Henry Kaloff is one of one. Oh, that was close. You saw him bobble down to the inside there, but that's going to put the pressure down on Miller to back off and give him second again. So perhaps that minor mistake actually ends up being a net positive as Cameron Chandler rides the wall. Chandler through 1 and 2, and basically the entirety of those corners ran it way high. And he still is. He's got some problems there, Cameron Chandler. Now, I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. But even still, he'll keep it moving. Braden Hunsaker in the 00 here watching as behind is Henry Kaloff, still there. Jordan Kuntz take a ride on board now with the number 00 as he continues to lead this battle. With the field fighting behind him, even still, Braden Hunsaker has been unfazed so far. 41 laps to go, and it looks like now Ashton Miller has sifted himself out of the battle. Henry Kaloff remains just ahead of him, and it looks like the 63 is still in the top 5, but definitely not the top dog overall. In the meanwhile, look at Aiden Donahue. Donahue's been able to put himself in a much better position. He too took new tire, and with that now comes the added responsibility of having to push with it. He's in the top 5 fight, and for the first time all night long, he has a very real chance of going out there and winning. What can he do with a victory at stake? Does he have the stuff? The opportunity is there, but will he be able to pull it off and really take the race lead? Now he's got the high side for second, but Cameron Chandler is blocking heavily right up top to keep it from him. Less than 40 laps to go now. The tail end is right ahead of us here. Chandler ducking low. He's now trying to take that inside groove to block by any means what comes out of Donahue, because it's gone from Hunsicker being the fastest man to it looks like Aiden Donahue, now Cameron Chandler. Interestingly enough, what we have seen so far over the last few laps, a pendulum swing again, but this time is Aiden who came really out of nowhere. Stint time-wise, he's got even younger tires. That's why he was one of the few drivers who decided to go in our most recent caution and not only top off, but get slightly younger rubber. He's got 5 laps less of that wear and tear, and it looks like right now when the going is getting rough, those extra 5 are making all the difference. 82 of Cameron Chandler. He's got himself up in front. New race leader. It's the 82 of Donahue. Now talk about a big performance tonight for Donahue to come back to the track where it all began for him. Now what can he do with that in mind? Can he go out there and win it? This is basically for him a return race to where it started. And it looks like right now his performance is representative of a driver who really does know how to go at it. The fight is there, but now can he finish it? 36 laps to go. Cautions all the way through that midpoint really slowed us down. And not only did they slow us down, but of course came the problem, whether or not these guys had the stuff to finish it and do it well. That isn't really an issue any longer when it comes to green flag strategy, but when it comes to pace, well, we'll see. "36 laps remaining, now coming to 35. Aiden Donahue leading by a convincing half-second margin over Cameron Chandler. The only thing I can imagine is that in this situation, Donahue might get brought back down to earth if he ends up having an issue with managing his own pace. He's very fast right now, but with him being fast, you've also got to consider the fact that he is being significantly more aggressive than everyone else around him. With 35 laps to go, I think that's another issue to consider. Aggression. 7/10 up, and he's gone there very fast. But what does it mean right now for him to be this far ahead? Does he need to be this far ahead? Or is that something that has become too much of a worry based on trying to push to get out of the opening situation? That opening situation being taking the race lead. Is that attitude going to be the right one to hold on to? Or will Cameron Chandler and company, with a little bit more of a conserved and reserved attitude, will they be able to finish it off and maybe do a little bit better with that? Just by knowing what it takes to get back up there even when they're gapped. That's some knowledge that maybe Donahue doesn't have. He's racing all out and definitely is racing with his heart in his sleeve, pushing to the max. But that comes with its setbacks, it comes with its compromises, it comes with its flaws, and one of those flaws is the fact that if he pushes 100% all the way, it's going to catch up to him. And we'll see how fast it decides to do so. Or if it does at all, there's a chance he gets lucky and it's not that big of an issue. "32 laps to go here. Aiden 13th up the first as the leading man, and right now he's falling away. John Meeks, 1 spot down, 10th to 11th. Payson Lindsay, 4 spots up to get inside the top 10. Payson tonight has been very, very consistent, staying in those battles, trying to make it around. And of course, it looks like right now the battle has become a 1-1. There's really not much else going on for Payson Lindsay. He's been able to outlast all the guys he was riding around early on. He was dealing with Daniel Silla and Joseph Miller, who are now a little bit further back. They were involved in a few cautions early in the going. Right now, it's an isolated race if you're looking at Payson Lindsay. 31 laps to go. 30 laps remaining now for Cameron Chandler and Jordan Kuntz. These two drivers still second and third. Advantage is just slightly with Jordan. Take a ride on board now with the 99 and see what he's going at. Down to the inside, Vinny Tigner tucks in on Braden Hunsicker. Remember that last run we had under green, Vinny Tigner was one of the fastest drivers on the green flag stretch. And he has something, when it comes to his pace anyway, that's been able to pull him up 1/10 of a second over everyone else around him. Now, what can he do? If he can, of course, do it again, but what else can he do to extend that opportunity? Does he have better to go after Donahue? Last time by, he ran 32.496 in traffic. Oh, Donahue is just so much faster, though. That was a 32.377 in open air. Jordan Kuntz that time by ran a 32.331 in open air. I think Tigner just has the bigger issue of being in a huge battle. And that battle zone is going to slow him down. But when he ends up, of course, breaking out, he's had the potential to be one of the fastest. As the night has run long, perhaps the biggest problem is that we are seeing everyone become faster. When everyone's faster, no one is. That sets the playing field level again, but it also makes it more competitive and maybe a little bit more aggressive. Tires are new for the time being right now. It looks like everyone's got themselves newer rubber, and they might get it again. Caution's out. It involves Curtis Stanford. Oh, huge contact with Joseph Miller. The battle began with Miller. So take a look at this. Watching Joseph here, 20th up to 15th. And now running P16 after that one. Again, the back half of the field has been one of the biggest problems. Daniel Silla and Joseph Miller, Andres Varas as well. We'll see what happens here. Minor contact from Silla sends him up the track and keeps him there. But what happened worse was the contact from Stanford and Miller. 26 laps to go. Caution is out again. Miller on pit road. And Donahue leading outside of it. .25 laps to go as they come down to pit road, and just less than that we go green. Once again, this time with Aiden Donahue leading, pit road is full. Everyone heads down and in all at once, and it'll be Jordan Kuntz with that pole position stall, which has done a lot of work for him. Even if he doesn't come in as the leader, he's been able to break out as the leader beforehand. Donahue at the line will be beaten again by Jordan Kuntz. And that pole position has paid its dues and then some, as Jordan Kuntz again gets the edge. The 99 leads the 82. Side by side, the 99 to the 82 will be as they head green for this run. Going to get one lap back is Charles Savidaris in the number 31, 21st place as he runs. Curtis Stanford, Joseph Miller, both on pit road were one lap down, and since they were both involved in that incident, they cannot get a lap back. One to green will return with 23 laps remaining. Now, with that being said, less time on the table, everyone on the same level of tire, you're really going to see the best of the best now. The excitement is, what's going to happen now? Is Jordan Kuntz one of the best, Of course, we know that. But is he the best at this track tonight? Now, that is in question. You got guys like Braden Hunsicker who have really been giving him a whole lot of trouble. Hunsicker has been red hot, and not only that, he has remained on Jordan Kuntz through and through, regardless of what we've seen in strategy. Aiden Donahue, when he has even 5 laps of tire advantage, is far and away the best driver. But anyone can be better with younger tire. Takes a different type of driver to be better with the same age rubber. Jordan Kuntz is watching as a few rows behind him as a man to look out for, Vinny Tigner, who has been great with long runs. Do we have enough time to see the best of Vinny? And of course, James Thurston. Thurston has been struggling all night after that lap 1 pit stop call. He's in the top 10 now. Just might be able to make a real run for it this time. 24 laps to go. It'll be 23 when we go running again. Jordan Kuntz, Aiden Donahue will bring the field back to green as at lap number 98, we're back in business. Green flags out for Kuntz. Field spreads out further behind, but Jordan Kuntz gets it out far and away. He's got the race lead with 23 laps to go. If you're enjoying tonight's coverage, well, thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting. Make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe. With 22 laps to go, we're about to crank it up with our friends at Whiplash SimCams, iRacing's leading camera provider. With the best angles in the business, there's no better place to go for any broadcaster than Whiplash. Visit their Discord today to purchase their camera packs at $5 per car and track. No licensing needed. Once you buy it, it's yours. Now, for America's home for racing, let's get loud and proud and crank it up from Charlotte. Aiden Donahue leads, but it is far from an open and shut case at the head of the pack as it runs Donahue, Kuntz, and Braden Hunsicker 1, 2, 3 with 16 laps to go. The final 15 will begin in just a lap now. Aiden Donahue and Jordan Kuntz first and second, 2 tenths down. Kuntz right now not too far behind, but he definitely has not been able to break ahead of Donahue. Even as he got the jump on pit road, Aiden is looking strong, but he's also looking like he's pushing all out. Now, he had that tire advantage beforehand, which meant that he could probably do that and get away with it for a longer period of time. Is the next 15-lap stretch a little too long to be going that risky? I don't think that we have the answer for that just yet. And that's where this becomes a big question mark as to what to expect from this point. Maybe if you're looking at Aiden Donahue right now and you see how little time he has left, you think he's in a good spot. And I'm pretty sure that for Donahue here, he's not going to fall fully out of contention even if he was to get past. But Jordan Kuntz is within a quarter of a second, and if Kuntz is biding his time and waiting it out just a little longer, it might be a better position than to be Donahue right now and really be digging to get that advantage. Last 4 laps, take a look at the distance between the leaders. It looks like the top 2 have spread out more and more, but will it only go to a point like that? Or will it keep on extending that gap between your top 2 drivers? That is of big concern. If, say, for instance, you're looking at it for Jordan Kuntz's sake, Jordan right now, he can't afford to lose much more than he already has, and it looks like he slightly gains back that time by. Will he begin to gain back more consistently, or is that just a one flash-in-the-pan example? Now we are set to find out as with 13 laps to go. They're running down the back straight, and this is where the race is decided. The last moments, the final opportunities to extend or expand your strategy calls. Success or failure rely on moments like this. A dozen to do it. Jordan Kuntz first to second, Matthew Weeks second to third. Now you basically have your top 5 in qualifying lined up. Second to fifth, only exception is James Thurston running 7th as he started in 3rd. By all means, not a bad day for James Thurston, but he took a very different route relative to everyone around him. And I think, unfortunately for him, that was a bad call. He went down to pit road on lap number 1, the opening lap of the night. And as he did so, he ended up falling so far out of strategy that now that he's caught up again, well, he hasn't really engaged with these drivers and figured out what their strengths or weaknesses are. And that leaves someone like Aiden Donahue who stayed on the cycle with a bigger edge. However, as of late, he has been slower and slower than Jordan Kuntz. And with 10 laps to go this time by, this might just be Jordan's revenge and getting the lead back. 10 laps remaining. Matthew Weeks ducks low. Cameron Chandler and Braden Hunsicker side by side. Cameron right now getting back in line after getting closer to Hunsicker. Braden surprisingly not even being in the podium right now as Matthew Weeks again has returned. Matthew having a quieter night perhaps than most would have expected out of him. He qualified 3rd, yeah, but you've seen more out of Hunsicker, Chandler, Kuntz, and Donahue than you have seen out of Weeks. Double file for second. Matthew Weeks now looking to put the pressure down on Kuntz. Quiet early on, but looking to step heavy when it matters most. To the inside again goes Weeks. Aiden Donahue has room to lead, and he's using it. Watch behind. Still, here comes Jordan Kuntz. The pressure from behind won't stop him. And it looks like now Kuntz going to get that window open on the inside, but shut again as Donahue clears. 8 to go. Over the past 5 laps, Donahue has seen his lead get cut in half. Eight coming to 7 laps to go. Matthew Weeks riding to the inside on Jordan Kuntz again. Now going to be side by side there briefly with Donahue, but he skates up and slides back, makes it a fight for second double file once more. Weeks Looking to the inside one more time now. But he still hasn't been able to get by Jordan Kuntz. I don't think Kuntz is particularly happy that he's gotten so much pressure from behind and hasn't yet been able to put a fair swing at Aiden Donahue. Donahue, again, is going to stretch by about a half-tenth thanks to that lap, and it plays in his favor. 6 to go now. 180 miles of racing all come down to this. Aiden looking behind. Still no clearance yet for either the 99 or the 82. 5 to go. Third place now side by side between Matthew Weeks and Cameron Chandler. Watching as Chandler slides in low. He's trying to take that final podium spot. Weeks has been putting pressure for as high as the lead, but has again faded back. Donahue blocks the outside, blocks the inside, comes up to the top of the track. He still looks to be confident here. Watch on board with Jordan Kuntz as he goes at it again for 4 laps to go. Good run off the corner for both drivers, just a little bit better for Donahue. Donahue continues to lead this pack. Jordan has been stalled, whether it's the dirty air, just waiting for the last moment. He's been biding his time, whether intentionally or otherwise. Cameron Chandler side by side again with Matthew Weeks at the line for third place, no difference. And now we've got ourselves another shot in the arm for the number 99. This time he'll take it just about a half groove higher. 3 laps to go. Aiden Donahue here, a car length up. He'll get a nice run out of turn 2. And these runs, these final stretches, mean the most. Vinny Tigner to the inside on Braden Hunsicker to take 5th. Now we're seeing the best out of Vinny Tigner, but it might be too little too late to go any higher than the podium places. To get up to Donahue here would require perfection out of Tigner and a horrible stretch for everyone ahead. 2 laps remaining. Donahue looking to finish the job. The lead is again 0.2 of a second, the highest it's been in 15 laps. What's up next? Well, we'll find out. Cameron Chandler surging to the inside on Jordan Kuntz. Chandler, second so many times. He'll bring it to P2 with one more lap. Can he finish the job? Aiden Donahue, 1 lap to go. Earlier this year, Donahue made his SNT debut at this very track. And in doing so, he led his first ever laps in his SNT career. Now, from starting 13th on the night, he's been able to recover, improve, and not only dominate the final stretch, but bring it back for the 82 team, and it's redemption from America's home for racing. Aiden Donahue at the line convincingly wins his first career race. Donahue is a winner from Charlotte. Leading 34 laps on the day, Donahue beats Chandler and Jordan Kuntz for his first of the season. And what a convincing run it was. Checkered flag for Donahue, and now he will burn it down. Aiden Donahue take a bow. What a performance for a maiden victory. Donahue wins over Cameron Chandler and Jordan Kuntz. And we'll be right back with post-race coverage, including your results and top 3 interviews. Stay tuned live on FTN. We'll return right after this.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.
Aiden Donahue, first career win, getting it done at the track where it all began. Donahue takes the win over Cameron Chandler in second, Jordan Kuntz in third, and Matthew Weeks then in P4. Fifth place on the day is Vinny Tigner with Braden Hunsicker sixth, Ashton Miller seventh, and eighth place James Thurston. To wrap up the top 10 is Jacob Clarino, and Henry Kaloff wraps up, of course, their 10th place. Payson Lindsay goes 11th with Trey Holmes 12th, Andres Varas 13th, and 14th being Daniel Silla. Asher Bunkley, Mike Hill, John Meeks, and Kurt Gibson go down to 18th as your 19th and 20th place drivers go as follows: Charles Savitaris and Curtis Stanford. Last drivers on the day, 21st place. That's going to be just outside of the top 20, of course, and that's Joseph Miller. Tyler Sevier, Michael Deitch, and David Hamrick. Your only 3 retirees all the night. And so with that, Donahue wins in a field of 24 and takes his first ever win in SNT competition. This one has been a long time coming, and you can see the highs and lows of the night right there. But for Donahue, the story begins last season with the first career race for your team, of course, in Charlotte. You made an impression immediately, and now on our first return trip, you went up and down the field from as low as 20th, starting in 13th, and finally winning your first career race. How does it feel, Aiden?
It feels amazing. Sorry for the language. First and foremost, I want to say the slide. I taught Matthew White how to do that, so I'm glad I got to do it. But no, I'm just so happy. This league is so tough, and this is one of the leagues I've been meaning to win in for a while now. And beating guys like Jordan Kuntz and James Thurston is no joke. And he was catching me there at the end, and I was like, "Here we go. This is it. Like, I'm gonna somehow magically get past." But I just drove the rear wheels off of that car, drove all the rubber I had on it left, and fortunately, we won.
And the effort showed, of course. First off, we mentioned Charlotte, a track that we've seen you strong and successful at, and this track more than any of the other intermediates. Is there anything special about racing here that just brings this team to life? Because it seems like we've seen a lot of success from you here that most other drivers can't really replicate.
I always tell people, like, when we are getting ready to do laps and stuff at Charlotte or whatever, like, Charlotte's always been like the easiest track to learn. I don't know if this is the first track I kind of learned on, I guess, but it's the easiest one to like learn how to save your tires and really race around people. It's fast, but it's not like ridiculously fast. But yeah, I mean, I'm good here. I wouldn't say I'm like the greatest here or anything. It's definitely not my best track, but I love it. And like you said, last year when we did the Legacy Texas or Legacy Charlotte, we had a chance to win until we were taken out. So this is like kind of sweet redemption. But yeah, just Charlotte just comes natural to me, I guess.
And all things considered, very strong in that respect. Now, tires and strategy, they played the difference all night long. We saw a green flag run to end it, a green flag run to begin, and a lot of cautions in between. You started in the mid-pack, but it seems like the clean air really helped you out. When it comes to getting up the field, how important was it for you to have those cautions?
Well, it's funny you say cautions. One of the cautions that came in to top out on fuel, I accidentally took tires. So If a yellow had come out there, I was dead in the water. Like there was no chance I was surviving that. But the cautions did kind of help a little bit. That first run I got through the field, I just felt like my car was handling a lot better than everyone else's, and I was slowly catching the top 4 there when that caution came out. But I mean, obviously they did help, but I think that call to come in and top off on fuel there was probably the winning call of the race, really. That and just driving the wheels off of that car to get past Jordan Kuntz on that last restart. But yeah, the cautions helped a lot, I guess. But we were just able to save tires and beat one of the top, I want to say 4 cars all night.
And that consistency with pace, getting up to the front of the field, everything comes together and it makes all the difference. Not only does this win, of course, finally get you there to the checkered flag and the celebrations come with it, of course, but you're now locked into the playoffs off that victory.
Yes.
The regular season ends next week, so now you're shifting your focus to what's to come after that?
Yeah, we're going to try our best. That's all we can do. That's what we do every race. That's all you can ever do is just try your absolute hardest.
Well, Aiden Donahue putting the effort to 110% tonight to win from Charlotte. Checkered flag is yours. Any final shout-outs or comments you'd like to send?
Yes. Big shout out to my wife. She's always watches my races, always watches anytime I race this league or any other league. She's my number one supporter. Big shout out to all my guys on my Twitch, the Showtime guys. We won an SNT finally, so that's always a plus to win in a new league. But shout out to my Twitch chat, and shout out to my wife, of course, and big shout out to you guys making the broadcast happen and stuff. It's always fun to rewatch.
Aiden Donahue, winner from 13th on the grid, and this was a victory long awaited. Thank you for your time, Aiden.
Yeah, thank you.
Then from there, Cameron Chandler. Again, had it not been for Chase Schaefer the season beforehand, he would have been able to win last time we were in Charlotte. The same case again. Cameron, second on the day, 4/10 back, and you were in the top 10 in the fight, but it looks like just outmatched late in that final stretch.
Yeah. I guess I needed a better restart there. We just fell too far back and had to drive through the field, but I did everything I could at the end. I definitely feel like I was one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest at the end, driving through the field like that. But it is what it is. And if it's meant to be to win at some point in this league, it'll happen eventually.
First off, however, tonight, of course, we talk about finishing second. You started fourth. You were in the mix from the very beginning. You, Jordan Kuntz, Braden Hunsicker, of course. It ended up being Aiden Donahue winning. He was tight up in front, but it looked like it was tricky to pass. The inside line was held well for defense, and even the outside, we saw drivers using it to push or to keep drivers back. We've gone to other intermediates, but it looked like tonight drivers were close, and while they could go side by side, passing maybe not as easy. Could you walk us through what it was like just when it came to trying to make aggressive moves?
Well, really, at least for me, it wasn't like actually finishing the move. It was just actually like being able to get a run to set up. The top was really good, especially down the straightaways, and but you just would stall out to the guy's back bumper into the corner, so it was really hard to get to the outside. But once you could do that, you could pinch them down, fly around their outside, or even if you're passing them on the bottom, just get to the corner and slide up and kind of make sure they can't really get back to you outside off the corner. So, yeah, I don't really know if we just had some more, honestly, I would love to see this car have some more horsepower. I think that would definitely help that issue.
And it looks like tonight definitely hard to finish the job, go out there. You go side by side, but execution being a big issue. Yellow flags, we saw quite a few. You mentioned maybe if there was a little more time, you could have gone out there and won. Were you more confident with the long runs in that case?
Really, I'm not really too sure. I feel like we were decent on that first run, but just killed the right rear too much. Couldn't really have the grip off the corner to do what I needed to do to drive back to the lead from wherever I was. But I feel like we had it fixed for that last run, especially. You saw the way we flew through the field, but who knows if I definitely killed the tires on that one. So who knows if we went longer, I think I would have had a chance to get to Aiden, but I don't think I could have passed him.
Well, now only one race remains in our regular season. You find yourself in a great spot, of course, being locked in to fight for another championship. It's Daytona, the land of the unpredictable. What's it going to take now to succeed with another run of the super speedways?
Honestly, a bunch of luck. If you don't qualify well, it's going to be really hard to drive through the field with this package. It gets pretty gridlock, so that's going to be. I'm not too sure if we're going to try to qualify well or hang in the back and just wait for the big one to happen. But yeah, just be there at the end, and really, if we get a green white checkered at the end, which we probably will have, I fully expect that. Really, anyone in the top 6 is in it, and even if you're in last, we were in Talladega for a different league, and I was leading going into turn 1 and got taken out, and I think one of the guys in the back got a really good finish from that. So, takes some skill at that track, but definitely a lot more luck.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's definitely set to be a mix of both next week. But until then, Cameron Chandler, podium sitting, second place here from Charlotte. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, big thanks to the TCMC guys, Braden Hunsicker, Matthew White, who's not here, Cole Wilson, who's not here. All of them are probably at home eating a honey bun or something, some fatness. And shout out to Aiden Donahue for winning. I've been racing him for quite a while, almost 2 years now, and he's definitely part of the reason why I'm able to contend in this league. So big shout out to him.
Cameron Chandler, second of the day here from America's Home for Racing. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
And last off your podium, after just a few weeks away from the racing scene, Jordan Kuntz comes back as good as ever in qualifying and one of the strongest tonight to race. Just couldn't cap it off with the victory. Jordan, either way, P3.
Yeah, it was a very fun race. Great to be back here racing in the Saturday Night Thunder series, and it was a really good qualifying. That was one of my best laps I've ever done at Charlotte, to get pole by that much over the amount of talent we have in the field. I feel like it was a really strong race, even on the long runs. Track position just meant too much. Every time I would lose track position, I would always struggle to get past, but didn't feel like defending the position, not wanting to kill the tires. And really, I think that's what hurt me at the end of the race. I was trying to save a bit of tires, but try to defend and didn't do a good enough job. And that's what a bad job and the last run leads to, is not winning.
And you mentioned tire saving being part of the situation all night long. For you, maybe more than others, and we saw it on the broadcast booth, you would lay back even though you had the pace. Were you maybe expecting more green flag runs?
Yeah, I always expect green flag runs from a field that's really talented and usually has the opportunity to go green for a long time. So I always plan for it and expect for it. Didn't go that way tonight, but I felt like the pace was there in the long run. Short run, not so much. I was still just saving my tires more than others, and ultimately could have done a bit better at managing that balance in the last stint. But we'll see what happens at Daytona next week.
Of course, Daytona now the last chance for drivers to lock in. You're not in a position to worry, so are your sights set, or I guess they would be. What's the end goal with this playoff run with that in mind?
I think my end goal for Daytona is to come out of there with a top 5 finish. This is my 4th race and 4th top 5, so to get 5 races and 5 top 5s would be my goal. I just hope to not get wrecked and just for it to be a really clean race and hopefully be there at the end battling for a win.
The fight is on once again. Jordan Kuntz in the 99, 3rd place today. And of course, still looking for win number 2 on the calendar, opening the season strong. Now another chance as the regular season ends. Jordan, if there's anything else you'd like to add, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone at Premier Concrete Solutions for backing me all this season and all the past few seasons, and hoping to get more momentum for them to fight for a championship this season. I'd like to thank my teammate John for the help. He was actually helping me with tire wear lines during the race, and everyone who's watching this race, my parents, grandparents, and I would of course like to thank you for broadcasting. These are always very fun and entertaining to go back and watch.
Checkered flag falls. Jordan Kuntz taking P3. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
With Kuntz on the way, you've heard it all from your top 3 drivers. First and foremost, of course, winner Aiden Donahue, second place Cameron Chandler, and third being Jordan Kuntz. With that said, a night of racing has come to a close once again, and I have to say, now there's still a lot left to be put together when we go race next week. The playoff field still has to be settled. Next Saturday night will be the difference maker, so stay with us live on FTN as we go back to business. One more time for the regular season in Saturday Night Thunder, it's Daytona, and that, of course, is the one everyone's looking for. 2.5 miles, super speedway action, speeds over 190 miles an hour. So make sure to stay tuned for our next race from Daytona. And until then, you've been watching coverage of Charlotte Motor Speedway, Race 8 of the 2025B Saturday Night Thunder Grand National Series. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. Congratulations to Aiden Donahue on his first career victory. We hope you have a fantastic night.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.